been in excellent, you'd say career best form. 3 goals in 14 for the winger so far this campaign.
I think Caspers is having almost a breakout season similar to Harding. She's getting in great goal scoring positions, she's assisting, and again, just playing with so much confidence this season. It's what you want to see out of our younger players.
Both keepers ready. Kaylee Collins keeps the gloves ahead of Sham Karmas, who is on the bench for the Western Sydney Wanderers. All in readiness then as we kick off in the setting sun. Home in the Matildas, Melbourne Victory's home ground this season. Last time they met, it was Western Sydney Wanderers winning for just the second time head-to-head. Historically, Leah, they don't have a great record against the Victory, and yet tonight they will come to Melbourne full of confidence that they can really beat Victory home and away in the same season for the very first time.
I think definitely a lot more confidence going into this match, the back end of a winner, and we know that despite Melbourne Victory probably getting off the hook at times, they haven't been in great form.
Alex Chidiac immediately surrounded 1-on-3. Victory would love to score first and set the tone. Their form has been patchy, but it still has carried them to 5th on the table. 6 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses. They really are the middle marker of the competition. Wanderers, by contrast, 7 wins, just the 2 draws, 6 losses. As the ball bobbles, and it could be dangerous here. Rachel Lowe hunting that 10th goal of the season. Breaks out to the left, blocked by Price and cleared away by Danica Matos. And finds an outlet in Holly Caspers, clips the ball into the middle, but a giveaway that Sarah D'Apollonia, the American, is able to retrieve and play to her compatriot Kayla Morrison, who is now, of course, a dual citizen, having received her Australian citizenship earlier this year. And Tori Hansen plays the ball back to Courtney Newbon. Newbon on a emergency 2-month contract with both Lydia Williams and Miranda Templeman out with long-term injuries for the Melbourne Victory. Williams hoping to be back at some point in March before a potential finals campaign. Here's Elise Kellon-Knight, caught in possession by Caspers. And now Sophie Harding, first touch. Back to Caspers, assessing her options, clips it through the right. Danica Matos is off and running here, but not able to get to the ball before Newbon. And so Holly Caspers taking up this more central role at times this season, feeding the ball out to Matos, the marauding wing back on that occasion, as Alexia Apostolakis consolidates. And Gemma Ferris is harried here by the very busy Mackenzie Wynett, who has a real bit of bash and crash about the way she plays, but all's well that ends well for the Wanderers. They remain in possession. And now Ferris from the right back corner, clipping it down the line. Jamila Rankin takes over possession for Victory. Straight back to Ferris. And now consolidated at the feet of the goalkeeper, Kaylee Collins. Rankin pushing up. 1-2 with Chidiac. Rankin to Wynett. And now the underneath pass. Alex Chidiac down in the corner. Wanderers happy to let Victory possess the ball out in wide areas. As you can see, it's all a bit stagnant in the penalty area at the moment. Players just standing and watching. And now Wynett tries to bring the game back to life. Into the penalty area it goes, and Amy Harrison volleys away. Harding tried to sell contact on a grab of the shirt. And as Victory consolidate possession, Morrison a bit more direct this time and gives the ball away. Leah, when you look up on the wing and all your players in the penalty area are just standing, some of them waving, it's only the 4th minute. Is this a little bit flat out of the blocks from Victory?
I think static in the front third has kind of summed up most of their season, Teo, and that's a good example where we like to see a little bit more interchange of positions. I think the ball speed can be quicker in the front third when they are looking to go from a wide to a central area as well.
Wanderers playing the ball out from the back. Harrison back to Collins. And now at right back, Ferris assesses her options and drives the ball forward. Harding chests it down. Caceres immediately dispossessed by Tori Hansen, the American defender sliding in. Speaking of American defenders, Vicky Bruce. And now the first time we've seen the ball on the left flank for the Wanderers with Kush LaRue, and she's dispossessed by D'Apollonia. And this little sliver of shade will move across the ground. By the second half will be entirely under the artificial light. Collision in the attacking midfield area, and a late whistle comes in from Molly Godsell. Well, the players are going to have to adjust quickly. I wonder, Leah, how many of them will have, as we see Caceres here, appealing for the foul for that late contact. I wonder, Molly Godsell, to be fair, was the referee that sent off Riley Foster for the elbow at a set piece in the Wellington versus Canberra game. Do you think the players pay enough attention to, know about that sort of thing? Or is it the last thing you think about before you kick off in a competitive match? Remembering maybe to keep your arms to yourself at a set piece in a situation like that.
Oh, look, I think for all our goalkeepers, that's something to always be mindful of in terms of the current playing group out on the field right now. Things in the past become outside noise, I guess, and it's just them focusing on the game ahead.
Oh. We'll take note of that, and we'll watch for it at the first corner, maybe at the first wide free kick of the night. Here's Rachel Lowe. Maybe Victory can win themselves a set piece or launch an attack a little bit quicker. Wynett didn't like her options. And so they will try on the grandstand side of the home of the Matildas. Checker. Rachel Lowe trying to move between the lines. Victory a little bit more fluid. And now Rankin supports the attack. Wynett has an acre of space. Closed down quickly, though, by Matos. Wynett in the penalty area, so Price had to be careful. And we do have the first corner of the night coming up.
And that's a bit better ball speed in terms of Victory changing sides there and getting Wynett in 1v1 scenarios. We know that she's an excellent dribbler. Now it's about doing it efficiently in terms of picking out a delivery or actually beating Matos there before the Wanderers can get their defence set and numbers behind the ball.
Wynett hasn't scored since the 16th of December, 3 for the season. Here comes the corner. Kellon Knight. Morrison with a free header and did not put it on the target. And Kayla Morrison, who has a great goal-scoring record for a centre-back, 8 in her 52-game career, could not test the goalkeeper there.
Oh, an absolute aerial threat. Wanderers are going to have to make sure that she doesn't make that first contact, or it obviously could result in a goal with the quality we know of Morrison aerially.
So ultimately, Alexia Apostolakis watched it slide wide. She was the defender on the post. First meaningful chance of the game, though, goes Victory's way. Apostolakis, now Matos. Kellon Knight with the intercept and hits the heels of her teammate in Wynett. Victory happy to be patient. Wanderers not overly aggressive in their initial press, but now they sense the chance to go. Kellon Knight using every bit of that experience to hold her ground initially, but then coughs the ball up. Caceres can turn and go. And then slightly to the disadvantage of Caspers. Morrison back to Newbon. Victory not out of danger just yet. Finds Alex Chidiac. And here's Rankin. And now Wynett hugging the paint of the touchline. And, well, Gielnik was nearly away there, but the ball ended up sliding out. Jeff Hopkins, the Melbourne Victory coach. With notebook and pen in hand, as is always the case. I'm intrigued as the number of underhit passes that Wanderers are currently playing, Leah. You know this pitch incredibly well from training camps and so forth. Everyone gets to warm up on it before kickoff, but is it lush? Is it just a situation where Wanderers are struggling to adjust?
I think maybe a little bit of player adjustment. It's a fantastic surface. It's our home of Matildas, and yeah, probably no excuse for underhit or inaccurate passes today.
Almost 10 minutes in. Victory starting to exert some command over possession. Wanderers have given it back to them a little cheaply already at times today. Right on cue, it's Victory's turn to cough the ball up, though. Caceres. Can Wanderers go to work? Harrison directing traffic from the centre of defence. Vicky Bruce got forward and then sent a pass out to the flank where Rue kept the ball under control. Jags inside. Kushleroo with a teasing cross. Rankin's header finds a teammate in the form of Wynett, and then safety first straight to the touchline. Robbie Hooker, the Western Sydney Wanderers coach, will be for the next 2 seasons after this one. And you see Ella Buchanan there on the bench leading in, the potential debutant. Wanderers have had a lot of train-on players this season out of New South Wales NPL, so eventually they've decided to reach into their depth and opt for one. They've at times debuted a couple of 14-year-olds, but Robbie Hooker's not been afraid to shuffle the pack. His first 11 might be a lot more stable, but certainly we've seen a lot of different faces on the bench.
Yeah, it's always good to see players that are in training environments doing well, rewarded with deserved opportunities as well.
Victory dominating possession early, 65%. And they will need to restart with a goal kick here. 10 minutes gone. Victory with the only chance of note from this player here, Kayla Morrison, who had the header at a corner. Checker. Now Dapolonia. Bruce crashed in, couldn't take possession. Second time, did win the ball. Caspers turns and faces, and then misses Caceres with the pass. Chidiac working backwards to try and go forwards. Checker from the last line of defence. And now Chidiac. Bit of trickery trying to get out of defence there, but it's ended up in the defensive penalty area. A Victory, their own worst enemy here. Will they clear their lines or not? Kush LaRue protects the ball. And now Bruce as the Wanderers reload. Price trying to move the ball on at all costs, and a little hurried, missing Caspers.
And it'll be a little bit of a different game for Western Sydney today in terms of Melbourne Victory, and they do keep tighter lines compared to Newcastle Jets, which was a more open game. So I anticipate less space in behind for the Wanderers to actually hit, and they're going to have to build through people.
And that's where the number 8, Liv Price, might be so important, but we haven't seen her on the ball much so far. Low with a long ball that breaks down the middle. Dapolonia not really with an angle to run onto it. Harrison intercepted, and Victory can return this with interest. Rachel Lowe bearing down on the penalty area. Dapolonia, the pass runs out to the right from the tight angle. Dapolonia, and Collins had to go and did. No Victory players in the vicinity, but they were all looking into the sun there, which made it a little bit awkward. And now Matos can take the ball into the attacking half. And then Casper's just caught on her heels behind Rankin. Rankin, a hopeful early ball. Gielnik able to take possession. Appeals for offside. Will the goal stand? Well, Amy Harrison was onto something. Would have been that sinking feeling, though, as the flag didn't go up initially. Eventually, Danielle Anderson did flag it offside.
And as you can see, Amy Harrison, she's confident in her line there. They're not the quickest back line in Bruce, Harrison and Ferris. So in terms of the defensive discipline to keep that line and step up at the right time and those kind of things, that's actually going to be crucial for them.
Well, it would have been a couple of seconds of panic and then relief as Harrison's judgment did come to fruition. Rue slipped at the inopportune time. Apostolakis back to try and clean it up, but Gielnik with a heavy first touch lets Wanderers off the hook. You'd be forgiven for thinking Wanderers didn't warm up on this surface there, because again, Rue there loses footing at the key moment. Some of this has to be perceived pressure rather than the surface itself. Caceres. Scott Kell on night for company. Checker makes the intercept. Now Harding's turn to slip. Long ball here. Checker gets another shot. Dapolonia. Passing accuracy, perhaps best summed up by that last phase of play. the assistants flagging that Apostolakis couldn't keep the ball in. So Victory will have a throw in. Crowd, you can see, ringing the fence. Generally a good sign that the grandstand is all seats taken, and now fans of this competition, the Liberty A-League, who are getting out in record numbers this season, are just finding a vantage point wherever they can. Seem to like the end that Victory is attacking in this first half. Chidiac. Rankin. Wynett can't turn and face here. Matos really sticking to task to hold her up. Now Rankin with a clever pass. Rachel Lowe. Harrison stands off. Allowed Lowe the shot. And Kaylee Collins comes up with a save.
And these are the moments that Rachel Lowe is dangerous. If she's able to pick up the ball in this front third and face forward, then she's going to get shots off. Now she just needs to be a little bit more clinical with her finishing or a passing option there.
Talk us through the replay here, picture in picture.
You can see her body shape's good, so she receives it to face forward. She feels like her best opportunity is to try to beat the goalkeeper near post there. Potentially a pass across the top of the six was a better decision.
Wanderers immediately into attack at the other end. Caspers veering central. Look at this. Kush LaRue was in space. Could not bring the ball under her control. It was a slick pass, but Kush LaRue, her one goal this season was in Melbourne. It was scored not too far from the home of the Matildas over at City Vista against Western United. It was totally unmarked there, but just couldn't bring the pass under control. Here's Apostolakis. Victory will get another chance to try and tighten up this defence. Caceres. Apollonia got a foot in to interrupt. Bruce. Price. You can see Chidiac hunted that pass and is now able to set Gielnik away, but she's the most advanced Victory attacker. Shrugs Price, shrugs Bruce. Still going Emily Gielnik. Well, that would have been quite the individual goal. It goes just wide of the bottom left corner.
And you just see the power of Emily Gielnik there and the strength she has as a player. The initial interception by Chidiac, excellent. She drives. You can see Price, her recovery run and her effort to try and get a foot in there. But Gielnik, she stays on her feet. She uses her body well, and then she gets a shot off.
Well, even though that didn't end up in the back of the net, that's a great highlight to suggest that Emily Gielnik is getting physically back to her Matilda's level best. Shrugged two opponents there, two senior opponents. Wanderers has some youngsters, but Bruce and Price are two of the more senior heads in the team. See the shot count there, 3-0 as Victory received a free kick. Hansen now with a long ball. Gielnik remains the target. Bruce good in the air to win the header. Apostolakis distributes to Harding. Kush LaRue breaking ahead of the ball, but D'Apollonia, as Harding tries to direct traffic over to the right flank, but it's all on the left at the moment because Caspers has switched wings for this phase of play. Here's Rue in the penalty area, skipped past one tackle, not able to make it past another. Caceres, well, the referee's whistle does go for the foul. Interesting time to create the overload there. Harding was looking for Caspers over on the right flank, but it's because both Caspers and Rue had decided to take up position on the left.
They had it, and that's where they're going to need a central midfielder to get into that central goal zone area and be a passing option if they're both dragged to one side.
Here's Caspers again. Early ball. Price attempting to press Kellon Knight. Jeff Hopkins and Emma Checker exchanging words. There's a bit of confusion about playing the back pass, but Victory have kept possession through all of this, and they might just have worked it out here. D'Apollonia, next pass all important. Emily Gielnik will have it all to do, surrounded by Wanderers players, and then tried to force something that wasn't quite there. However, Lowe is going to capitalise. Robs Harrison of possession, and then the cross is blocked. Caspers. Deep in defence now. Chidiac just trying to make a nuisance of herself here, looking to buy a mistake. They have bought a mistake, and they've bought the opening goal. Mackenzie Wynett sliding in on the goalkeeper and makes it victory 1, Wanderers 0. It's a first goal since December for Mackenzie Wynett, and the Victory press gets a big tactical win there as Wanderers cough up the opener.
Yeah, excellent press by Melbourne Victory there. You can see Wynett in terms of her positioning. She blindsides the goalkeeper. Chidiac with the initial pressure, and again on screen, Wynett there. She's in a half position. She takes a gamble and presses the goalkeeper there. And really, for me, it's a one-touch clearance by Collins.
So Melbourne Victory picked the perfect time to go and hunt the ball. Leah, when Wanderers watched that back, how could they have done it differently to avoid coughing up possession the way they did?
I think it has to be a one-touch clearance by Collins. I think she has to be on her front foot, and so she can be a little bit quicker to come towards that ball and deal with the oncoming pass.
So Wynett's 4th goal of the campaign, last scored on the 16th of December against Canberra. So 2 months to the day she'd been waiting to find the back of the net again. And Wanderers have the gauntlet thrown down. Rue legged. And legally, no foul given. Rachel Lowe. Harrison back to Collins. Apostolakis played into Room and tried to move the ball on as quickly as possible. Kellon Knight. Back to Hansen. Wanderers trying to win it back in this midfield morass. Wynett went to ground. Ferris. Price. And now Harrison moving it wide. Rue twists it back inside. Harding a long way from the penalty area. Apostolakis. Ferris's pass right into a contest, and Victory able to break even in that contest. The ball didn't find its way out though. Play continues. And Ferris is able to win a throw for Western Sydney. And now the referee will just hold everyone up. Let's take another look at the goal.
Yeah, as you can see with Collins, again, I just think it's a one-touch clearance, and she plays the ball there into a midfield area and breaks that press via that way, as opposed to taking a touch into the oncoming Wynett.
So Sarah Dappoloni is the player down. Jeff Hopkins up into the field of play to have a quick word with Rachel Lowe. Ball breaks in a dangerous position here. Rue. Oh, Kush LaRue asking too much of Holly Caspers with that pass. Just a little slick, a little too much of an angle. Straight out for a goal kick. And now Wanderers, their press, you can see it's right up into the penalty area. So that certainly wasn't the case before they conceded the opening goal. But it seems as though the shout has come from the bench to really start harrying the ball carrier. And Victory making very heavy weather of getting out of defence at the moment. They do have a throw. Neat passing down the right side. Matos, the early ball. And just volunteers it back to the Victory. Courtney Newbon, not really tested so far at the 25-minute mark. Of course, started the season as a free agent before signing with the Central Coast Mariners for a couple of games on an emergency contract. And Chidiac yields possession here. Wanderers still really looking to click in attack. Root left the ball behind. Chidiac passed straight into the ankles of Apostolakis, and now the ball spills to Price. Caceres. Apostolakis. Kellon Knight gives up possession in a 1-on-2. Price able to flash a ball to the penalty spot, and now Matos. Well, Danica Matos, it is game number 62 for her today. She is still yet to open her account. And a chance goes begging. Wanderers best of the game so far.
And Olivia Price is the answer in this front third. You can see the cleverness. She's technically good in terms of picking out a pass here. She does really well to find Harding. Harding back to goal, right decision. And then for Matos, it's just leaning over it and being clinical with a finish.
Well, safe to say Danica Matos is not a natural finisher. We've seen her in goal-scoring positions, especially with this advanced wing-back role she plays, but I just feel as though she just needs to get that first A-League women's goal out of the way, and then she might become a semi-regular scorer for a defender.
100%. She's not used to being in those positions in the front third. She's got an extremely high work rate and enormous engine. She's an athlete, and now it's just about becoming more clinically and technically more sound.
Promising free kick here for Western Sydney. Harrison drops it at the penalty spot, and it flashes through the penalty area untouched. Goalkeeper didn't come out for it, didn't need to. And so a little spell for Western Sydney here. Can Victory immediately flip the field, or can Western Sydney continue to build a bit of pressure as they search for an equaliser? An equaliser now that they really need. Victory, should they go on to win tonight, would move to 26 points in fourth place, and they would knock Western Sydney down to fifth on 23. Vulnerable to being, would you believe, as low as 8th by the end of the weekend, depending on results in other games. That is how close the ladder is. Leah, what do you think the shout has been from the bench? Because we've seen Wanderers now press right up into the penalty area since going 1-0 down, and you can't press that aggressively for 90 minutes, but it seems as though that going behind has sparked them into life.
You definitely have to pick and choose, and I think it's a good tactic to try and regain a little bit more momentum for this Western Sydney side. You always want to be trying to apply pressure and those kind of things when you are 1-0 down, so that sets the right tone. But now it's about having a bit more composure when they do win the ball back and picking their passes.
Great pass from Morrison. Gielnik through the right and goes for the near post. Knocked away. Ball still at Victory feet. Apollonia. Gielnik coming so close a moment ago. Low is going to play it to one at 1 goal already today. And then the return ball for Low, but then had to go to ground to try and fashion a chance at the near post. This was a great outlet pass here from Morrison.
Oh, fantastic pass by Morrison. We know she's a left-footed player, so it's well weighted. It's into the path of Gielnik. And then for the Gielnik there, the decision-making, I think it's a tough angle. Collins has a near post covered. Potentially she continues to dribble towards the end line there and cuts the ball back.
Maybe Kaylee Collins will be feeling a little bit better now, having staved off that chance from Gielnik. And the Melbourne Victory defence have been very capable against the long ball in return, where Victory have had Gielnik running into open space. The Wanderers haven't really set Caspers or Harding away really at all so far through almost half an hour. The cutback here, Caceres at the edge of the box. Apollonia couldn't take the ball off her, and then slides in, and Caceres not able to win the free kick, but is able to win the corner, and that will be Wanderers' first of the game. Mel Caceres, you can see how heavily that thigh is strapped. She's been a player just cursed by injuries, didn't actually make her debut until last season as a 26-year-old, but she's always had the talent.
Oh, extremely talented player. She's a technician. If they can get her in between the lines and dribbling and combining in this front third, she's going to be a threat for Western Sydney.
Apostolakis takes the corner. Harding with the header, couldn't put it on target. Was able to rise in a one-on-one contest there, but not able to generate any power or placement on this particular corner. Free kick coming up for the Wanderers. So at the half-hour mark, they have started to wrestle back the possession in the territory. Matos. Now Caceres. Looking for an opening. Mel Caceres leaves the ball with Price. Very busy around the top of the penalty area. Apostolakis goes for a long shot. And even though it dipped, it didn't come down in time. Alexia Apostolakis, who did score back in December when Western Sydney Wanderers prevailed. Looking for another one there.
And it's a nice little build-up by Western Sydney. The short-angled passes, one touch, so the ball speed's quick. I actually like the combination play there. For Apostolakis, a little bit ambitious with Newborn on her line. Had a time over, she's just got to lean over that as well.
Kellon Knight. And now Rankin. Victory haven't had a chance for a few minutes now. You can see they're leading the shots on target 3-0. But Wanderers just on top in general play. Harding able to take possession initially. Dapolonia right there to make it uncomfortable though. Spilled the ball, and now Gielnik under the feet of Lowe. Harrison tried to hit the left corner, but headed away by Checker. And now Checker sizing up the options. Back to Newborn, and Newborn here gets the hurry up, but is able to squeak the ball out to Hansen at right back. Gielnik wanted a foul, definitely contacted on the right ankle, but the referee lets it slide for now. Victory have still got possession, but Gielnik being down means they're one short of a crucial attacker. It may not matter here. Victory starting to move the ball at pace. Won it. Leaves the ball with Rankin. And Rankin onto the head of Dapolonia, well wide. Well, Emily Gielnik may have a case to plead to the referee here about a foul. Of course, has had a wretched injury run over the last year and a half. It's a tough one, Leah, because Harrison's landed on Gielnik as they both come down.
Yeah, I think it's just awkward coming together there. Nothing malicious in it, and Molly Godsel's a lot closer than me.
Here's Rachel Lowe cutting it across, a little shallow. Harrison's got to be careful. Nearly caught in possession in the penalty area for the second time. Wanderers, they're able to escape on this occasion. Hansen's long ball. Lowe dealt with Harrison. Now the back pass. Has the whistle intervene? It will be a Wanderers free kick. Not for the contact on Harrison, but for the contact on Vicky Bruce. Harrison with a long free kick. Straight onto the head of Hansen. Robbie Hooker and Adam Bavka, the fourth official, engaged in conversation as Victory go on the attack. Wynett to Chidiac. Ferris's long ball. Half volley from Morrison. Kellon Knight. And back to where the original pass came from. Ferris this time opts for Apostolakis. And Wanderers able to keep possession, albeit advancing at a very slow pace at the moment. Now a long ball to try and move the field. Price clips it over the top. Roux in space on the left. Kush LaRue decides to take on Emma Checker and Alex Chidiac. Price. Chidiac did well to dive in front of the ball. And now Apostolakis. We've seen one long shot already. I'm not sure if that was a mishit pass or a long shot. Either way, it's a goal kick.
Look, I definitely think a shot. I don't think it's the right decision. I think Apostolakis needs to try and find either Casper's or the feet of Harding with that opportunity.
So into the last 10 minutes of regulation in this first half. Victory leading thanks to Mackenzie Wynett's fourth goal of the Liberty A-League season. And here is the goal scorer in possession now. Rankin and Wynett combining on that left side. Slipped over to Rachel Lowe. Gilnick is on the run and sends out to a tight angle. Gilnick wheels back around and then plays the ball straight to Harrison. Matos loses out to Rankin, and then Rankin went to ground. Matos has kept her feet. The ball very much still in dispute, and eventually a free kick goes Victory's way, and this is in a potentially dangerous position here, and Persistence won the free kick from Jamila Rankin.
Really dangerous area for Victory. You can see KK's probably going to look to get on the ball here. It's likely to be an in-swinger. You've got good aerial targets in Hansen, in Morrison and Gilnick. I think any side that comes up against Melbourne Victory, you've got to be really mindful of giving away silly free kicks in this back third, knowing that they are a danger aerially.
At least Kellon Knight can put Victory into a great position to double their lead here. The free kick, an in-swinger sliding to the back post. Morrison, and now the shot is blocked away. Hansen unable to get it through traffic, and then the drive. Collins saw it late, but was able to get down. It was not the most powerfully struck ball, but it had potential to sneak into the bottom corner. Kaylee Collins makes the save. Through comes Vicky Bruce. And the whistle goes. Offside. All right, let's break down this phase of play, which had multiple chances for Victory to score.
A beautiful whipped-in ball by KK there. And you can see Victory have numbers in the box.
Rachel Lowe with the shot on target. And again, you see the Wanderers pressing the ball all the way up to the last line of the Victory defence. And Victory forming triangles, trying to play through it. Dapoloni, a physical defensive possession, but ultimately yields the ball. Bruce deflected on. Checker and Dapoloni are sought out who's taking responsibility here, and Checker just wanted to protect it over the line. Checker with a long throw that sees Wanderers concede a throw in once again. Without really putting a foot on the ball, Victory have managed to take it from down level with the penalty area up into their attacking half. Now Wanderers are able to retake possession. Collins dragged the pass down to Price, clever in the end. Rue asks for the ball on the left. It's got Daplonia trying to mark her here, and Kush LaRue does win a throw. But it won't be quick again from Wanderers here because the Victory defence is set behind the ball. They're going to have to try and outlast them and find a key to unlock the defence. Caspers, Rankin, Lowe missed the volley. Harding with a shot. Harding with a bender that dipped late and ended up just clipping the roof of the net.
That's a great effort by Harding. She's in a position where she's able to face forward, and you know, difficult for Newborn given the positioning of the sun right now. It's actually a well-struck ball by Harding.
Would it be fair to say that Wanderers are not a patient attacking team, though? We've seen them at times force the pass, go for a long shot. In situations where the Victory defence are really set deep behind the ball, they're not one to possess it for a long period of time. They generally tend to shoot on sight or try to take the first option.
Absolutely have a very direct style that's paid dividends for them this season in terms of the athletic quality they have in certain positions as well. It suits them.
Certainly the pattern of this game, though, with Victory able to sit deep in defence, it doesn't allow them to get in behind. We've barely seen Wanderers off to the races so far tonight. When they have played the early long ball, Hansen and Morrison have been able to win it in the air.
And definitely a plan B is needed for success in this match.
Harrison has to go to ground because Chidiac was lurking. Ferris able to get the pass away in the nick of time, but it's coming back and now deflected in the air. Victory can sense the opportunity to press for a second. Kellon Knight and now Rachel Lowe, and had two defenders able to win the ball away from her. Three minutes of regulation remain in the first half. And Wynett coughs up the ball here. So Wanderers off the hook for now. Caspers able to lose the attention of the Victory defence. A bit of green grass in front of her, but the pass is overhit. And that perhaps sums up the frustrations that Wanderers have had in this first half. When you say a plan B is needed, is that going to the bench? Is it players in different positions? I guess the halftime team talk is only a few minutes away for Robbie Hooker, so the chance to implement some major changes is not far away. We'll stay with Gielnik for now as Emily Gielnik plays the early ball. Wynett for a second of the game. And she is able to win a corner, but it could have been so much more. Well, I think the central referee and the assistant referee disagreed, and it looks as though the assistant has got the nod here. It is going to be just a goal kick.
And I think the referees, they've made the right call here. You can see the early delivery. Wynett's a good 2 to 3 metres ahead of Ferris there.
Referee wants to bring everything back. We've got Sophie Harding, who's favouring the side of her head after an aerial contest. Trainer is out here for the Western Sydney Wanderers. There's Harding and Hansen late to the scene. Tori Hansen coming off a little bit sore as well. Not great for Harding. It doesn't look like it's a formal concussion test, though. Just chatting at the moment with the doctor and the trainer. It's the first stoppage for an injury in the first half. Wanderers using the opportunity to go and grab a drink. Look at that. Robbie Hooker is still, I think he's made a new friend in Adam Bavka, the fourth official today. In the meantime, though, Leah, back to the question about what will Wanderers be looking to implement at halftime?
Look, I think they're struggling with this final pass from the middle to the front third, and it's a combination of decision-making, pass quality. Victory would have done their homework. Western Sydney last week, and for a lot of the games, they're very, very direct, so take away space in behind. They've got plays in between lines, such as Caceres, such as Olivia Price, and really just look to control more possession in a more patient way.
Harding's been past fit to continue, so she's waiting down at the sideline. No need to be too concerned about a potential concussion. Doctors are clearly satisfied. She's back on with a vengeance here. Look at that 60-metre sprint straight up to the goalkeeper just to try and turn up the heat on Victory, but Dapolonia has been the outlet here. 2 additional minutes to end the first half as Gielnik is away through the centre right channel. Gielnik against Harrison. Still Gielnik. Can she free the feet for a shot? Well, the Wanderers defence, a team effort there. 3 of them, one after the other, and it was Olivia Price who eventually dispossessed Emily Gielnik. And now Kush LaRue with a real burst of speed past Kellon Knight, crashing in against Checker, and that allows Caceres to go, and Dapolonia dragging down Caceres. The home fans like it. Wanderers didn't, but that was desperate defending from Dapolonia. Wanderers trying to hurry things up here at the end of the half. Ferris scythed down by Mackenzie Wynett, and then Wynett runs out of play. Well, here's the thing. Adam Babka is an exceptional referee, but he's not the central referee. Robbie Hooker has a point, but Babka's not the one with the whistle.
No, he isn't, and I think, again, we've got to look at what's going on at the field, and the pass quality and the decision-making from the middle third to the front third is the issue at hand for me in terms of the performance as opposed to the fourth official.
Well, it's been a torrid first half on that Wanderers sideline. .30 seconds of additional time to go. Victory holding the lead. Wanderers trying to finish with a burst of energy. Apostolakis holds the ball up. Wanderers are going to have to execute to perfection here with only seconds to work with in stoppage time. As that ball hugged the line initially and eventually finds its way out. Can Victory manage this to get to half-time? Indeed they can. And so Mackenzie Wynett's 4th goal of the Liberty A-League season has Victory leapfrogging Wanderers on the table for now. It would be 3 precious points to consolidate their spot in the top 6. It's been a busy half for players like Sarah Dapolonia, but that's the goal scorer, Mackenzie Wynett. Her hunting the ball and catching the goalkeeper in possession is the difference between the sides at the home of the Matildas at half-time. Melbourne Victory 1, Western Sydney Wanderers 0. And Leah Blaney, for those of us who've joined us during the half since the goal, here it is one more time.
And my position stands in terms of Collins. She's got to be aware of where the pressure is coming from, and it has to be a one-touch clearance where she breaks that first line of pressure and ends up in a midfield area.
Wynett sliding in after the pressure from Chidiac, and they celebrated together. And Melbourne Victory hold that advantage for now. Will it be enough, is the question. And as we take a look at the numbers at half-time, you can see there that Victory are shading possession, certainly shading shots and on target. Leah, did the numbers tell you anything else about what we've seen in the first half?
I think it's been a fairly even game. Both sides are showing good defensive discipline, so we're not seeing a lot of really good goal-scoring opportunities being created.
So those are the numbers at the end of the first half. Stay with us. We will be with you on the other side of this break with the second half. You're watching the Liberty A-League. Welcome back to live pictures from the home of the Matildas. Fans enjoying the outer on a beautiful night in Melbourne. And everyone wearing navy and white will be a little bit happier, even more so, because they lead 1-0. Former Matilda and current young Matildas coach Leah Blaney. We're looking at some of the chances from the first half. Victory will feel as though they were good value for their lead based on the chances created, even though perhaps the goal came just as Western Sydney Wanderers were starting to turn general play.
Yeah, Victory definitely have some really good little clever half chances, and you can see Western Sydney Wanderers up the other end have had their moments too.
Even more so than the goal, I think that Emily Gielnik run was probably the highlight of the game so far. I mean, this is a veteran Matilda who's really battling her body as much as the opposition there, and it was the Gielnik of old as she shrugged off two defenders on that marauding run. Definitely
shows what her strengths are. She's quick, she's powerful, and very direct player.
Mackenzie Wynett had the chance to double up there, but fired it over the bar. And there is the goal scorer now as she gets ready to start the second half. The 25-year-old from Washington State in the United States. Amy Harrison will be back at the centre of defence, trying to prevent any more goals being conceded by the Wanderers. Of course, this game has huge consequences on the ladder. As Victory run back out into position. Wanderers came into tonight in 4th, Victory in 5th. They have now swapped on the live table. Melbourne City on 30 at the top, Western United 29, Sydney FC 27. Victory would be up to 26 points in 4th. And then Western Sydney Wanderers vulnerable on 23, with Perth, Central Coast and the Newcastle Jets all capable of leapfrogging them if they get favourable results by the end of the weekend. So this is a big 45 minutes. Even a draw, even pegging it back to stop Victory getting the jump on them could be so valuable for Wanderers in their pursuit of the top 6.
It's a huge 45 minutes. We know that Western Sydney are going to fight to the end as well. They're a resilient team. They've got a few routes to goal and multiple goal scorers that are highly capable in this squad.
It appears as though neither team made a change at half-time, and we're going to have to redo kickoff here because a few eager players breaking out of the starters gate. And so everyone goes back into the right half of the field. And the second half kicks off in this Liberty A-League clash, with Western Sydney Wanderers trailing at the home of the Matildas to Mackenzie Wynett's goal and the Melbourne Victory. The artificial lights starting to take over, and the shadows now have gone across the entire ground at the start of the second 45. And Western Sydney, I mentioned in the first half how important the first goal is, because Western Sydney are yet to win from behind this season. In fact, just the one draw. So they've only picked up the 1 point from a losing position this season, which leaves them battling against the trend. And an early free kick here. It is Mel Caceres. This is probably too far for a direct shot on goal, but here's another look at the foul. Kayla Morrison.
And I think the initial shoulder-to-shoulder is fine, but Morrison just does give her a bit of a nudge in the back with her hand in that last action. So I think it's a warranted free kick. In terms of the decision-making here, you've got Price, you've got Harrison, both are technically sound. For me, it's a dink pass somewhere between the 6-yard line and the penalty spot, but we'll see.
Harrison dropped a very tantalising free kick in the penalty area in the first half, and no runners really made a go at it. Now we're going to see a flat direct shot into the wall. Price follows up and the ball just flashes off the boot. No deflection, goal kick. Well, Harrison went for the shot after all. And now Jamila Rankin from deep in defence. Long ball looking for the run of Emily Gielnik, and she's got the entire Wanderers defence panicking every time she gets up and builds a head of steam. They deal with it on this occasion. Here's Gemma Ferris. Early ball hoping for Harding, but Morrison wins it in the air. And Kellon Knight sends it back to Hansen. Ball right against the line, did not go out. It was a close call. Victory keep possession, Checker. And Gielnik Well, won't be able to run it. She will be able to run it down. Emily Gilnick, the ball held up perfectly, and that's set up for the tap in. Rachel Lowe sliding in, slams the turf in frustration that she wasn't able to make contact on the ball. That happened so easily for the victory. And now Wynett keeping the pressure on, top of the box, still red alert. Alex Chidiac receives the pass from Dapolonia and puts it just wide.
And Western Sydney are going to have to be mindful, given they do play with a back three. If Gilnick can be found in space there where the wing back is caught out and she's able to deliver like that, as good as technician and player Rachel Lowe is, I'm not sure how she missed that.
Well, the Wanderers' defence were just opened up so easily there by the victory. One pass and then Gilnick was able to roam the right side unchallenged, run down that ball and put it in a cross that Rachel Lowe perhaps should have steered in for two. Flags up, coming back from an offside position were Western Sydney. Morrison, potentially a risky pass. Holly Caspers was in the vicinity, but Hansen, well, can't hit up Checker, gives the ball away. Ruse throw in. Harding against Kellon Knight. Price. Back to Harding. Able to swivel away from Kellon Knight, but then couldn't get the pass away. And now a foul is given. No subtlety there from Olivia Price, just grabbing onto the arm of Sarah Dapolonia.
Definitely a professional foul by Price.
No one in the book from that first half, though. We didn't see a yellow card shown. Here's another look. Do you give a yellow for that?
I don't. No, I think it's the right decision by Molly Godsell.
Certainly there were plenty of players back covering. It wasn't the most rapid counter-attack, but a very deliberate foul nonetheless. Caspers, to the shouts of her teammates that Rachel Lowe was coming in from the blind side. Price, Harding, Slick, and now Caceres back to Harding. Tries to force it on for Matos, the surprise player forward in attack. Offside once again, the problem. And I mentioned in the first half that Danica Matos is a wing back, not a natural forward, and she's been caught offside twice already in just 5.5 minutes of this second half. Extremely
athletic player, really positive. She's going to get forward, she's going to get on the last line. She's playing as a wing back, just needs to look across the line and time her run a little bit better there.
Wanderers starting to get a bit more possession in dangerous territory though. And so victory on notice that the Wanderers are back in the groove here in the second half. Hansen pondered which pass to go for. Morrison trusted that she would find Kellon Knight. Chidiac trying to roll on and keep the ball moving for Dapolonia. And Dapolonia, well, close to the keeper, still needed to be held onto because that was dipping in. A cross shot that doesn't catch out the Wanderers custodian. Matos directing traffic, sending Harding down the right flank. Harding, well, Morrison got across, and that's sharp work from Kayla Morrison.
Really good defensive cover by Morrison, and probably an asset of hers is her ability to recognise when she needs to protect that space in behind.
Well, both teams appealing for the throw. Wanderers get the decision. Down in the corner, Caceres. Able to evade two defenders and then tapped on the back of the ankles. No whistle coming to the aid. Mel Caceres has been felled a couple of times in this game, and well, it's perhaps expected the whistle and it hasn't been forthcoming. Victory appealing for offside, and that is a decision they will get as Apostolakis strayed beyond the last defender. Well, Mel Caceres is a very tricky, evasive player. Did she go to ground a little bit too easy, though?
I think it's a combination of both. Jamila Rankin there, you can see she's lunging where if she actually just steps with her right foot and puts her body between herself and Caceres with that foot, it's actually less of a foul.
Chidiac. And too much on that pass intended for Mackenzie Wynett. Neither side has turned to the bench just yet. Jeff Hopkins with his subs lined up there in the background. Outfielders Jess Nash, Alana Murphy, Correa Aquino and Leah Privatelli. Very attacking bench. He's got one recognised defender in Nash, and then Aquino and Privatelli, both different types of attackers. Murphy a midfielder. Shouts for handball against Price, and Harrison has to play it here to avoid conceding a corner. You can see the funny side of it there, just a bit of a miscommunication with Gemma Ferris. Rankin did well to extract the ball. Kellon Knight, Gielnik tries to improvise with a flick on, but it sits up kindly for Collins. Apostolakis. Is there a counter-attack to be launched here? Just had to wait for something to appear ahead of the ball. Caceres. Now Matos. And too much on that pass. It'll run long for a goal kick. Certainly hasn't been Sophie Harding's night just yet. Hasn't had a great look at goal. Had the clash of heads with Tori Hansen. And situations like that not really being used to her strengths, breaking into space.
I think that's definitely the issue here for Western Sydney at the moment. This isn't a game where Harding's going to get into space in behind, so potentially they look to find others and bring those players into the game who are going to get a lot less attention and are a bit better in between the lines.
Flick header on here from Gielnik is ideal for Wynett. Ankles tapped, and the decision's been given right at the edge of the box. It's a yellow card for Harrison. Amy Harrison can't believe it. She doesn't think it was a foul at all. Mackenzie Wynett doing well. First booking of the game. Here's another look. And the contact is outside the penalty area. It's going to be a free kick right at the edge of the box.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent decision by the referee. You can see why not. She steps slightly in front of Harrison there, and the angle of approach for Harrison is essentially she's coming from behind.
Emily Gielnik and Elise Kellon Knight lining up the free kick. Kellon Knight off the crossbar. So close for the veteran Matilda to a first A-League women's goal since 2018. And now Victory have another chance here, but Lowe can't meet the header with enough force, and it slides out for a goal kick. Big moment for Victory.
Oh, great free kick by Kellon Knight. You can see she gets over it. She hits it with enough pace that it gets up and almost down. A really good stroke by KK, and I love the second phase by Melbourne Victory there. They're the first to win it and then look to re-deliver to Lowe.
So a couple of great chances for Victory to score. Elise Kellon Knight last scored in the Liberty A-League wearing the colours of Melbourne City back in December 2018. Hasn't been much closer to a first Victory goal than that. Lowe against Price. Clever from Lowe. Found Kellon Knight, and now Wynett's away. Gielnik waits in the middle. Mackenzie Wynett cuts it back. Gielnik in traffic. Trying to fashion a shot and gets a corner. Melbourne Victory firmly on top now as they look for a second goal. Kellon Knight to take the corner. Plenty of good aerial options. Morrison, Hansen, Gielnik. Corner floated right into the pack of players, and Kaylee Collins is sure-handed. Catches it first time. Overarm throw. Well, not to the advantage of Harding by any means. And out it rolls for a Victory ball.
And that's just a good example where I think Western Sydney need to find other outlets than Harding. She's a key player for them. I understand in transitions she's going to be quick there, but if they can find somebody else and then get her in the box finishing, they're going to create better build-up opportunities.
Mentioned the Victory bench earlier, Western Sydney Wanderers bench. Lauren Keir, a defender. Amy Cesare, a midfielder. Malia Morris, a forward, who is still searching that elusive first goal, the American, and also Ella Buchanan, a defender, who will act first and turn to the bench. Wanderers chasing the game. Victory very much on top. You'd think that Victory would be very happy with how things are going at present. And they are edging possession. In fact, that is the same number, 54-46, as it was at half-time. So they've managed to keep a steady trajectory. Gielnik, and you see Vicky Bruce there using her body just to block the path of Gielnik and allow Harrison an easier back pass to Collins. Price nearly gave it away to Chidiac, did give it away to Dapolonia. Caceres commits the foul on Chidiac. This will be too far for a shot on goal. Another mid-ranger here. Alex Chidiac, it's not been her most prominent game so far, but still popped up in the big moments. And so Kellon Knight over a free kick. No wall to speak of, just drifts it into the area, and the goalkeeper Collins has to palm it out for a corner. Well, that ended up becoming quite awkward.
Yeah, and Collins does well to get a top hand to that. I don't think she's going to be too pleased with the tracking of runners by Western Sydney. You can see Hanson, you can see Morrison. They're all free in that 6-yard zone.
And the Victory bench, all wearing their bibs, will watch from the corner here that Kellon Knight is going to take it from. Driven to the near post this time, and through traffic for two. Emily Gielnik puts it in. And Emily Gielnik's return to her best continues with another goal. Melbourne Victory double their lead, and they get reward for really controlling the second half so far, 2-0.
And the poor marking on the previous free kick was the warning sign, and the lack of marking of Gielnik from this set piece has resulted in a goal. Aerially, Victory are dominant, and in terms of set pieces, they have to be picked up. They're key players. Their runners have to be tracked.
And so, I mean, that's gone through two defenders and the goalkeeper still to find its way in, but it's the power on the initial header which allows Gielnik to get it through all that traffic.
It's a well-timed run. It's a great ball by KK, so that Gielnik's just actually redirecting it with good technique.
Gielnik loves playing against the Western Sydney Wanderers. That is her 6th goal against them in 10 appearances. And she actually scored the last time she played against Western Sydney Wanderers in the A-League Women's. That was a double for Brisbane back in February of 2021. So 3 years on, Emily Gielnik says, remember me? I love playing against you. That's 6 in 10 against the team that plays normally in red and black. And it's her 49th career A-League Women's goal, which continues to push her up the list of all-time scorers. I know we celebrated Michelle Heyman reaching 100 this season, but there's a very short list of players that have scored 50 in this competition, and Gielnik is now 1 away from that significant milestone.
I think it's a great milestone for Gielnik, given that she's had some absence in the league by spending some time overseas as well.
Of course, was a prolific goal scorer, winning the Golden Boot with Melbourne Victory back in 2020. As we see Gielnik away again, confidence sky high at the moment for 2 in quick succession. Just wide, so close. Emily Gielnik is absolutely putting the frighteners through this Wanderers defence. They don't have too many answers at the moment other than hope for the best.
She is, and it's great to see that Emily Gielnik, we all know, powerful, direct, making forward runs, really playing with a lot of confidence in this second half. in terms of Wynart, I think she can join the attack quicker and be in a position where she's following in on that far post ball.
Victory scored from the last corner they had from this left side. Kellon Knight late to the party, having to run over to take it. Do they go for exactly the same thing? Can they catch Wanderers with the same set piece? Kellon Knight to the back post this time. Morrison unmarked, and it is 3. Wynant in off the line. The gentlest little headed nod. Victory at 3-0 up, and they are making a statement tonight.
And once again, an aerially dominant player who's left in that far post zone. Fantastic delivery by Kellon Knight. It's a dink ball, it's into that far post, and Morrison just separates herself enough from Harding, and it's an easy redirection for her.
Mackenzie Wynant has a double. She'd been waiting 2 months to the day for a goal, and now her 4th and 5th of the season have arrived in quick succession.
Again, that initial contact by Morrison, and then Wynant, she's been lurking. She was lurking on the Gilnick goal as well. She's in that 6-yard and she gets something on it.
8 games without a goal for the American, and that's a drought breaker at the perfect time for Melbourne Victory. And they have left Western Sydney Wanderers in their wake here in the second half. Wanderers had been scratchy in attack, weren't looking overly likely to grab an equaliser. Now they are in a 3-0 hole and getting a bit of a reality check perhaps. Here's Price looking for one back, and that is at least a shot on target, held onto by Courtney Newbon.
And it's the right decision by Price. Just a little bit underpowered in her effort. She's off balance when she strikes the ball.
Well, Western Sydney would have been dreaming of their first finals campaign. They came down to Melbourne tonight, hoping to complete a season double home and away over the Victory. A team they'd only beaten twice in their history. And with still 25 minutes of regulation to go, they are 3-0 down, and at present being outplayed. One back here can at least stem the flow. Here's Harding at the edge of the box. Harding fires it into the back of Rankin. And now Kellon Knight. Price on a volley. It sat up, but she didn't quite hit it with the venom needed. Well, I'm sure it'll be... Oh, we're going to see a sub here. Western Sydney Wanderers are going to bring off Mel Caceres and bring on Amy Chisari here. And there's going to be a change. It looks like Kush LaRue is coming off. I think this is just to get a drink bottle. Yep. It's going to be an A-League women's debut for 19-year-old Ella Buchanan. Football New South Wales Institute initially, and then NWS Spirit. A great moment for her to make her debut. And on comes Malia Morris as well. Western Sydney Wanderers, they've seen enough. They're 3 goals down. They respond with a triple change. But even though they're losing the game, let's not lose sight of it is an A-League women's debut for Ella Buchanan, and a great moment for her.
Oh, fantastic moment for Buchanan, and you see the addition of Amy Chisari as well. Great to see the youngsters out there.
And so will the fresh faces at least be able to tighten things up defensively? Olivia Price was the other player who made way, so that shot on target was met with her last act in the game. It's all rolling downhill for Victory at the moment. This will be a performance paid attention to by the rest of the competition, no doubt. And I'm not going to put you on the spot, Leah, but I'm sure it'll be a talking point on Dub Zone on Sunday. Emily Gilnick's form. Missing out on that Matilda's squad. I think she's playing like someone who wanted to make her own personal statement. You can catch Dub Zone on 10 Play and also A-League's YouTube on Sunday at 8:30. Here's Harding. Ball bouncing on. Intercepted by Rankin. You can see graphics there confirming the subs. Buchanan coming on for Rue. Morris on for Price. Here's Gilnick again, looking for the run of Lowe. Here's Buchanan, first touch off the bench. Casper's not able to meet it and keep possession though. And now Rankin. Gilnick, and that will slide out for a goal kick. So there's the debutant NWS Spirit, play in the northern suburbs of Sydney. The old Phoenix club out of the Northern Spirit. Ella played a number of seasons there, and her sister Kaya plays in the same team.
Yeah, and definitely has the player qualities of a Western Sydney Wanderer wingback. She's an athlete, she's an up and down type of player.
And right now, defending is all Wanderers need to focus on, because Victory are in the groove. Chidiac into the near post, cleared by Harrison. Chidiac, low. Victory stringing passes together. The home fans are having fun. They've got 20 more minutes of this to enjoy as things currently stand. Kellon Knight follows up. It takes a series of deflections. Keeper's got to go. It spills in the 6-yard box, and it's cleared off the line. Gilnick nearly had another. Vicky Bruce saves it for the Wanderers. Now Harding deep in defence, just trying to get Wanderers out from under the pump. It is short-lived. It was chaos in the penalty area for Melbourne Victory, and they nearly willed it over the line for 4-0. Here's Harrison. Chisari now. Ferris. Chisari gets another crack at it. Ferris to Apostolakis. And intercepted by Kellon Knight. Dapolonia plays it to Wynett, who is on a hat-trick. Mackenzie Wynett flashes it across the face. Off target, and Gilnick just a step behind.
And that's a superb first touch by Wynett into the path of Ferris to create the initial space for herself. You can see Dapoloni, she gets her head up. She's aware of Wynett's run, and this is the first touch that takes her into a good position. And whether it's a shot or a cross, probably can debate.
I'm going to vote for shot. I think you're on a hat-trick. You're feeling it.
I agree.
So 20 minutes of regulation to go. Leah, we've seen the triple sub from Wanderers. It hasn't materially changed the fact that Victory is starting to run all over them. Do you think about a formation change? Do you just wait for the subs to bed in for a few minutes more? What's the plan here? I guess their goal difference is a bit of a factor. It's now down to -1. Victories is up to +6 as a result.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some decision-making around minimising the damage right now and keep that goal difference down, or looking for a win.
Gilnick catches Collins off her line. Incredible! Emily Gilnick making the ultimate statement. It's her 50th Liberty A-League goal, and it is scored in the most spectacular fashion. Opportunism, quality, execution, and Victory in a 4-0 lead, thanks to Emily Gilnick.
Oh, that's fantastic awareness by Gilnick. You can see she picks the ball up between the lines. She gets her head up. She's aware of Collins' positioning. And then the strike is just sublime. And it's everything you want to see of Emily Gilnick, starting to get back into the old Gilnick and the form we know she can be in.
Well, this has been a statement showing from Emily Gilnick. Here's Wanderers with a half chance. Caspers draws the save. Here's the all-time scorers list. Heyman 105, Kerr 70, Tamiki Yallop 61. Emily Gilnick draws level with Kaya Simon on 50 in a tie for 4th. And so with Tamiki Yallop back scoring goals, here's another look. Just a brilliant piece of identifying when the goalkeeper was there to be beaten. Leah Privatelli is going to be subbed on here for Rachel Lowe. But looking at that all-time leading scorers list, all Matilda's greats, really. But Kaya Simon and Emily Gilnick now level on 50 goals apiece in a tie for 4th all-time in the Liberty A-League. And it's amazing that both of them now are back playing in this competition and might hand 4th and 5th spot back and forth for the rest of the year.
Once again, the strike from Gilnick, in terms of how she strikes that, she gets underneath it, she's aware that Collins is off her line. It's a really clinical finish by Emily Gilnick.
Well, we've got multi-ball here, so this corner's not going to be taken just yet. Here's the corner from Apostolakis. And headed away by Morrison. Matos tumbling to the edge of the box. Morris onto the keeper. And so Melbourne Victory, they move for now back to within 4 points of the top of the league. Of course, the rest of the competition yet to play this weekend. Their run coming up. Wellington at home, Adelaide United away, and then the Melbourne Derby on the 17th of March. You wouldn't rule out Melbourne Victory could be, if they're in form like this, could be playing City for top spot on the 17th of March. Here's Gilnick playing it to Wynett. Wynett for the hat-trick, shoots it straight at the keeper.
Look, with quality on paper and on the field for this Melbourne Victory side, I don't think we can ever rule them out. They're having a late run. They've done it in previous seasons. And could this be the game that Jeff Hopkins has been searching for, where they turn around their form in the front third? It
really does feel like a kickstart of something. As we see picture-in-picture, another look at the chance for Wynett going for the hat-trick. In the meantime, here's Matos. Caspers, and out for a corner. Well, I think back to a couple of seasons ago, it was a very different looking Victory team in the COVID-affected season. They played Western Sydney Wanderers at Amy Park and got a hold of them 5-0 that day. And that was such a vital result for them on their way to winning back-to-back championships. February 2022, just over 2 years ago. And now Wanderers trying to peg one of these 4 goals back, headed away by Morrison. And that 5-0 scoreline remains the most lopsided result between these two teams in either direction. Victory are now just 1 goal away from equaling that. And it's solemn faces on the Western Sydney Wanderers bench, understandably. As the ball runs on through the right, Privatelli trying to make an impact off the bench immediately. Ferris and Bruce combine to nullify the threat. Just to tell you how much Victory's squad has turned over in the 2 years since then. The only players that played that day who are still in the Victory team now: Alex Chidiac, Alana Murphy and Leah Privatelli. That's it. 3 out of 16. And we're going to see a sub here. Emily Gilnick gets a rousing ovation from the home fans as she comes off for Correa Aquino. Leah Blaney, it's Emily Gilnick's best A-League women's performance in basically since her stint in 2021, capped off by this marvellous goal, and everyone is going to be talking about her after this.
I think Gilnick's had a tremendous game, and I think we've got to remember with her, she's come back from a few injuries, and now she'd have a good training load under her belt. She's been getting slowly more match minutes week in, week out, and hopefully this is the Emily Gilnick we see week in, week out moving forward.
And for those of you who didn't follow Dub at the Cup, Emily Gilnick was a guest on that a number of times during the Women's World Cup, and she used the word burning to describe how she felt about missing the World Cup at home, burning to get back for the Olympic qualifiers. She didn't get fit for those. She didn't get fit in time for the upcoming series against Uzbekistan. There's no shortage of motivation, and now if her body can hold up its end of the bargain, we are seeing Emily Gilnick back to her best. Victory have a free kick to look for a 5th here. Kellon Knight, a high looping ball, and Collins able to pluck it out of the air, but not without Correa Aquino running into her eye line at the very last second. Hansen. Morrison. Well, we've talked at length about this being a potential turning point for Victory, Leah, but what about a turning point for Wanderers? Because I imagine that the video review will be a tough one, and there will be a bit of soul-searching done regardless of how many of these 4 goals they peg back between now and full time.
Yeah, I think, they're going to look at their defensive structures on set pieces. They're going to look at individual player marking. I think obviously the first goal in terms of the GK distribution will come into question.
Western Sydney Wanderers' upcoming fixtures. After the international break, they have the home Sydney derby on the 2nd of March against Sydney FC, a team they have not scored against since 2019. 7 consecutive derbies without even scoring a goal. Then Canberra away and Canberra at home in the space of 4 days. They have a very busy first half of March. Here's Dapolonia. And not helping Chidiac with that pass. Throw into the victory then. Subs still available on the bench include Jess Nash and Alana Murphy. And for Wanderers, of their outfielders, just Lauren Keir yet to enter the game. Checker. Privatelli put the head down, tried to use a burst of acceleration, but touched it out a little bit too far. Privatelli making her 90th A-League Women's appearance today. Will just run out of time to make it 100 before the end of this season, even if she plays every game from here. The most she could get to is plausibly 97, I believe, and that would require victory to still finish 5th or 6th and play an elimination final. I think they've got their sights set slightly higher than that at present. Caspers against Dapolonia. Now Morrison all the way back to Newbon. And of course this victory defence will be eager to keep a clean sheet. Their work is far from done. Midfield battle, whistle goes, Apostolakis committing the foul. Melbourne Victory's last clean sheet was back on the 16th of December against Canberra United. 8 games since they last kept a clean sheet. Here's a long shot from Aquino. So in these last 10 minutes, Leah, they've still got plenty to play for and a point to prove.
Oh, they absolutely do, and I'll always go back to there's high expectation on this Melbourne Victory side in terms of their performances. From 0 to 90, you've got a lot of quality out there, and you want to see individuals, you want to see them as a unit performing at the levels that they're capable of.
Kellon Knight. Here's Aquino keeping the ball moving for victory. Wynett sizing up the Wanderers' defence. Too many to try to take on. Wynett. Ferris able to stop the ball getting anywhere near a victory attacker. Clearing to Harding. And now Morrison. Chidiac receives the ball, tries to hurry things up. Over to Rankin. Wynett from deep on the left, can't get past Ferris. But Victory have possession once more. Chidiac. Now Kellon Knight. Lots of defenders set. Victory with the patient build-up though. Rankin, Kellon Knight, and ultimately things come unstuck. So Victory were patient and then they just let the air out of the balloon. Wanderers making their final change for an outfield player, and it's going to be Holly Caspers coming off for Lauren Keir. So this looks like it might be a slightly more defensive-minded substitution. Keir coming on, pointing and giving instructions for various players to head elsewhere because she's lining up at the centre of defence. Yeah,
I think Hooker's probably gone to an out-and-out back four here, given that Keir can come on and play as a centre-back there.
It is just a fourth appearance of the season for Lauren Keir. 3 of those have come in the last 3 games, so she's at least fought her way back onto the bench after being out of favour for most of the first half of the season. And that means every outfield substitute for the Wanderers has found their way onto the pitch. Checker. Here's Aquino on the tight angle. Correa Aquino attracts a crowd of defenders, still finds a way through, and it was nearly rolling on. Desperation from Ferris to clear. And now Chisari against Checker. Cleared by Ferris. Malia Morris trying to make an impact off the bench, but passes it straight to Rankin. Here's another look picture in picture at Correa Aquino, nearly laying off an assist.
Yeah, Aquino does really well to try and thread her pass there. Gemma Ferris's defensive positioning is sound. She's in a good position to intercept.
Kellon Knight right through the middle. Victory trying to cut through the Wanderers' defence once more. Won it once, twice. Can't find Chidiac. Vicky Bruce was there to clear. Harding. One of the few times we've seen her breaking into open space. Still Harding, and shot it straight into the back of Hansen. Follow up though from Morris, and now Wanderers have a few numbers forward. Harding, return pass to Morris was sharp. Morris caught at the last second by Hansen, who's come off worse for wear with that defending. Now Dapolonia, gaps opening here for Victory. Chidiac tried to hit the early ball. Privatelli's off and sprinting. Keir coming across, and Keir won the foot race. And the referee's just going to go back and check on a fallen player here. Tori Hansen, who put her body on the line there and just got in front of the shot, but definitely caught a boot in the back of the ankle or Achilles for her trouble.
She did. A little bit of desperate defending there with the recovery, and she's got a foot in, and it's just unfortunate that Morris has caught her there.
I mean, you wear shin guards, but you don't wear them backwards, do you? Those hurt.
They do.
You can see it's on the face of Tori Hansen that one really stung. Hopefully it is not a injury of significance. Hopefully it's just sore in the moment rather than something that's going to need to be managed, because it's a pretty hard kick right to the bottom of the calf, top of the Achilles.
Hoping it's just a cork or something of the like, which is still very painful.
Victory have to think about a sub here. They do have Jessica Nash on the bench. I wonder if, even as a precaution with only 4 minutes to go, they might think about it. Jess Nash there just creeping into the shot, still wearing her bib. Melissa Maisel's in the foreground, the Victory goalkeeping coach and former player. Hansen walking under her own steam, so that's a good sign. So last rights of this one, the two main questions. Can Western Sydney Wanderers avoid their all-time worst defeat against Victory? It stands at 5-0 2 years ago. And the other one is, can Victory keep a clean sheet for the first time in 8 games? Stretching back to December. Elise Kellon-Knight's number is up. She's coming off, and Alana Murphy will get a handful of minutes here at the end of the night.
And it's been a terrific shift by KK this evening. I think it's one of the games where she's controlled the tempo really well. A lot has gone through Kellon-Knight. She's been positive in her build-up, and yeah, I think one of the better matches for KK this season.
Well, when the starting 11s came in, it was 7 players with a Matildas cap in the Victory team versus 1 player with a Matildas cap in the Wanderers team. And you'd think if you were to take that very high-level look at the teams on paper, a scoreline like this wouldn't surprise you. But the form lines, the trajectories, the performances, this result, it'll only be a surprise for the people who were deep in the weeds, perhaps. I don't think it'll surprise too many people who would have looked at the teams on paper that this is the gap between a team with 7 Matildas and a team with 1. But it's a statement by Victory, isn't it?
Oh, I agree, Teo, and I think this is, this is Victory. They make a late run at the end of the season. The performance tonight has been one of their best of the season with the ball.
It's going to have a strong feeling of Victory are back. Of course, they have to break for the international weekend. So they'll be hoping to bottle this up and be walking on air for the next 14 days and then unleash on the final 5 games of the home and away. And they may yet make a charge at top spot on the ladder as we see Vicky Bruce here. Through the back of the Victory attacker Aquino, no foul given. 90 seconds of regulation to go. Now Murphy is blown up for the foul against Chisari. And that'll take us down to the last minute of regulation. Does the international break come at a good or a bad time for Victory? Do you want everyone coming to training feeling amazing for 14 days, or do you want to take this form and get out there and pick up as many points as you can while you're looking so good as Victory have tonight?
Look, you always want to go into the international break on a win. It's a long time until your next game. And I think with Melbourne Victory too, they actually don't lose, I don't think, anybody during the window. So they're going to have a full squad training. They can pick up maybe a midweek boys game. I think it puts them in good stead.
Here's Checker. That record scoreline might still be a factor in these final moments. Privatelli, the head check. Where's Mackenzie Wynett receiving the ball now? First time pass, trying to squeeze through a gap. Oh, deflection city. And Ferris was just caught by that clearance to the side of the face, but she's all right. And so play continues at the feet of Kayla Morrison. And now I think the ball is going to be put out so that there can be an assessment. 4 additional minutes, plus however long we're delayed here, I suspect. Malia Morris is down, and this is a worry. What has the American attacker done? She seems to be favouring her left leg. There's Mackenzie Wynett, 2 goals tonight. And this is not good for Malia Morris. Leah, who's your player of the match? I mean, Mackenzie Wynett's bounced back and made a statement tonight. Emily Gielnik turned back the clock to her Matilda's level best. If you had to flip a coin between the two of them?
Oh, I'm not flipping the coin. I'm with Gielnik all the way. I think in terms of the decision-making on some of the goals she scored, the ability to pick the ball up at halfway there and have the awareness to dink it over Collins like she did, as well as the technique. I think for me that pips Gielnik ahead of Wynett.
Watch this space. This is a real worry for Malia Morris here. Crowd is going to show her some solidarity and applaud as she comes off. This was the shot which hurt Tori Hansen earlier in the night. Not 100% sure if that's exactly where she appears to have suffered this injury. But watch this space for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Of course, they did bid farewell to Millie Clegg, their New Zealand international forward, before the end of the transfer window as she left the club. It's amazing to think that this Wanderers team that was flush for attacking options now might be a few down for their run home, trying to make the top 6.
And they've emptied their bench, so they've gone to 10 here. Probably 3 more minutes. 2 or 3 minutes left. Interesting to see if they just sit in and minimise the damage. I'm sure Victor will be happy to keep trying to pepper the goal.
Here's Chidiac trying to bustle through. Interception by Ferris. Well, as far as Victory's goal difference is concerned, it is now equal with the best in the league. Melbourne City are +7, Sydney FC are +7. Melbourne Victory have joined them on that tally if this scoreline holds at 4-0. It's extraordinary to think we're this far into the season and no team has been dominant enough to get into double figures positive goal difference. It shows the evenness of the season. We only have the one team, Adelaide United, in negative double figures goal difference. So I would suggest that Wanderers, they may have lost 4-0 tonight, but you wouldn't abandon them on the other side of the international break. We have suggested this might actually be the wake-up call they need, especially when they play a team with victory's quality.
Absolutely not. I don't think you can abandon any team that's in and around that top six at the moment. And it's just Friday night, Teo. We've still got a Saturday and Sunday full of exciting games in the dub. Yep. Anything can happen.
The Chaos League, we may have had a one-sided one here, but don't worry. You'll get a close one and a big surprise and all sorts of action over the course of the remaining games this weekend. Never mind that we've got Wellington depleted by injury and international call-ups away at Western United. So we see the cross in here from Wynett. Touchdown initially by Privatelli and then cleared by Buchanan, but D'Apollonia is there, diving after the ball, not giving up on it in the 4th minute of stoppage. Yeah, Wellington are going to be putting out almost an experimental lineup down to the bare bones with the Kiwis away on international duty. So, but you know what? In the Chaos League, it might work. They might win. You just can't take your eyes off it. Here's Victory looking for a 5th, cleared by Vicky Bruce. And now Cesari. And maybe one last hurrah for the Victory here to try and make it 5. They'll have a throw in here as stoppage time expires. How much more will be tagged on for the Malia Morris injury is the question. Rankin. Wynett. Running at Ferris. There will be one last attack for the Victory, but it peters out with a goal kick. Still we go. Aquino trying to escape out of a 1-on-2. Can't do so. Kier, show of strength. But it will be a Victory throw. Will they even have time to take it, though? We've now completed 5 additional minutes. Well, the referee's going to insist. I'm not sure they've got a long throw specialist, though, the Victory. Nemechek is going to give it a level best. Chidiac. Scuffed into the box, cleared away. Statement made in emphatic fashion. Melbourne Victory, a dominating 4-0 win. Mackenzie Wynett breaks a 2-month scoring drought with a double. Emily Gielnik makes a statement about her trajectory for the remainder of the Liberty A-League season, becoming just the 5th player to score 50 A-League women's goals, the 50th of which will be a contender for goal of the season. Western Sydney Wanderers give up 4th spot to the Victory as a result. Melbourne Victory's goal difference now equal with any other opponent in the league. They have dominated at the home of the Matildas as it finishes Melbourne Victory 4, Western Sydney Wanderers 0. Leah Blaney, as we take a look back at the goals, this was Victory's night and one to savour.
Yeah, excellent press by Victories. Can see the pressure Chidiac puts on, and then one, it just blindsides Collins there and is able to poke it in.
And so that was the 21st minute and the first goal since the 16th of December for Mackenzie Wynett. You can see what it meant. Second half, and this is just a well-executed set piece. Wanderers will do the post-mortem, but Victory will be delighted with the power behind Emily Gielnik's header.
Outstanding delivery by Kellen Knight. The timing of Gielnik's run and the technique allows her to generate that power. Really classy finish.
And then it was another corner. The initial header from Morrison. Wynett right on the goal line. It needed that touch to be a goal. And Morrison gets the assist. Wynett gets a double.
And once again, just some poor marking in the box by Western Sydney.
And so that was 3-0. That was the point safe, a long way from home. But Emily Gielnik was not done. On a night out for her, taking possession on halfway and then seeing Kaylee Collins off her line. One bounce, 4-0. And that will be a contender for goal of the season.
Superb strike by Gielnik, and, you know, fair enough to have your goalkeeper playing high, but no pressure on the ball. She's got to drop quicker.
Oh, Mackenzie White knew that was a goal right off the boot. 50 out, directly in front, straight up the high diddle-diddle. All right, so that's victory 4 and Wanderers 0. What are the numbers other than the scoreline? Tell us about the game, Leah Blaney.
Look, I think the statistics show that Melbourne Victory, they obviously dominated possession, but as well as being clinical in moments they had to be.
So Victory take 4th for now. Western Sydney Wanderers vulnerable heading into the rest of the weekend. And you can catch all of the remaining games this weekend on 10 Play and Paramount Plus. On behalf of Leah Blaney, my name's Teo Pellizzeri. Thank you for your company. We hope you've enjoyed tonight in the Liberty A-League.